Good morning and welcome to our Lenten meditation for this Monday, March 28th. This is my last day in the parish before heading out on my sabbatical. And I just want to begin by reading this. These are actually the words to a song, but I'm reading them as a poem called If This Is Not a Place by Ken Medema. If this is not a place where tears are understood, then where shall I go to cry? And if this is not a place where my spirit can take wings, then where shall I go to fly? I don't need another place for trying to impress you with just how good and virtuous I am. I don't need another place for always being on top of things. Everybody knows that it's a sham. I don't need another place for always wearing smiles, even when it's not the way I feel. I don't need another place to mouth the same old platitudes. Everybody knows that it's not real. So if this is not a place where my questions can be asked, then where shall I go to seek? And if this is not a place where my heart cry can be heard, where, tell me, where shall I go to speak? So if this is not a place where tears are understood, where shall I go? Where shall I go to fly? Chose to read this poem, and I'm going to play the song at the end of this meditation because I believe that St. Paul's is a place where tears are understood. Today we're going to be celebrating the life of Bev Jewell and saying our goodbyes to Bev, and there will be tears today. There will also be laughter. And there will not be embarrassment over the tears. There will be loving response, understanding, shared grief, because this is a place where tears are understood. This is a place where life is understood. And I believe that has become even more true over these last couple of years when we've been challenged so deeply and so painfully by the virus, by the isolation, by the knowledge of the many, many, far too many lives lost to COVID, along with the recognition of racial hatred, war, continued violence and oppression, division. Our hearts weep. And this is a place where we can go, where those tears are understood. This is a place where our spirits can take wings and do. You only have to look back at some of the meditations we've heard over these past few weeks and continue to tune in over the coming weeks to understand that spirits are flying because they're being released in wonderful ways and encouraged to fly by so many supportive and loving friends. We're human beings. We go through times of trying to impress, for attempting to prove that we're on top of things, for smiling when we don't really feel joyful inside, where we mouth platitudes because we feel they're expected of us. And yet we know that, again, that doesn't have to be the case in this community. I was so struck during the time we spent at home by the coffee hours. Many of you have heard me talk about this before, but the depth of sharing that took place at those coffee hours, where people talked about incredibly painful and difficult realities in their lives, like illness and fear and depression and addiction and children going off the rails. There was such honesty in those conversations, and everybody listened and everybody cared. They weren't mouthing platitudes. They weren't trying to impress. They were simply being together, being there for one another. This is a place where tears are understood. We're full of questions. We're full of doubts. Our hearts cry out in desperation and confusion. Here, our questions can be heard. Our heart songs are listened to. Our heart cries are listened to. Our doubts are accepted. And our pain is shared. This is a place where tears are understood. So this is a place where we can go, where we can be, to fly. This is a place where we can be to laugh. This is a place where we can be to sing, to rejoice, to celebrate. And you will be celebrating in marvelous ways when Easter comes. And I and Michael, we will be celebrating with you from far away over the wonders of technology. But we're with you too when you weep, because this is a place where tears are understood. God bless you. I love you. And I will see you in May.
Well, if this is not a place where tears are understood, then where shall I go to cry? And if this is not a place where my spirit can take wings, then where shall I go to fly? I don't need another place for trying to impress you with just how good and virtuous I am. No, 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 I don't need another place for always being on top of things. Everybody knows that it's a sham. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't need another place for always wearing smiles, even when it's not the way I feel. I don't need another place to mouth the same old platitudes, 'cause you and I both know that it's not real. So if this is not a place where my heart cry can be heard, then where shall I go to speak? And if this is not a place where my questions can be asked, tell me, where shall I go to seek? I don't need another place for trying to impress you with just how good and virtuous I am. No, 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 I don't need another place for always being on top of things. Everybody knows that it's a sham. Yeah, you know it. I don't need another place for always wearing smiles, even when it's not the way I feel. I don't need another place to mouth those same old platitudes, 'cause you and I both know it's just not real. So if this is not a place where my tears are understood, where shall I go?